How's it going, boys and girls? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Steins Linear Bounded Phenogram. I don't know why I'm sounding ecstatic, or somewhat ecstatic. I always sound the same. Because we are in a tragic moment, the tragic moment that we should all be quite used to with Steins Gate. Mayuri is most likely dead. Okabe is freaking the fuck out, and we're seeing this all from Kurisu's perspective, which is a little interesting so far. Why is Faris here? Why is her butler here? Well, this world line seems to be a little different. So, let us read on. Oh, and Okabe is unconscious right now. As we struggle to make sense of the absurd and tragic situation before us, the butler, apparently named Kuroki-san, speaks.
はい。私も完全に事態が飲み込めているわけではありませんが、まずは旦那様にご相談なさってはいかがでしょうか。
パパに?
Interesting. So I guess in this world line, he's alive. Which I guess would make sense because all of the wishes that everyone wanted through D-mails, they happened through the D-mails that Okabe had sent, they all came true. Or something along those lines. Faris-san's father, if he's someone we should consult at a time like this, could he be a cop? But Okabe said that the police were also under CERN's direct control. What kind of man is he? Regardless, I'm not thrilled about the idea of relying on an adult. One can say that it's because I've accomplished everything in my life on my own. But at this point, our options were limited. And my experience as a working member of an American research institute does not chance the fact that I'm not even old enough to drink. No amount of effort can make up for a lack of social experience, and I certainly haven't learned how to deal with things like this. Outside of contacting law enforcement, I have no idea what to do. And given that we can't trust the police, that puts us all the way back at square one. Normally, I would have called bullshit on Okabe's claim that they'd infiltrated the police, but the desperation in his eyes convinced me otherwise. Besides, if the terror threat that shut down public transportation was CERN's doing, we don't have much time to think. I saw Faris hesitate for a moment, but in an instant, she steeled her expression in a show of determination.
とにかくここにいるのは良くないと思う。私の自宅に行きましょう。あなたの家に移動するの?
Her words catch me off guard. The time leap machine is a prototype that is only confirmed to work in this lab. If we leave, it's going to be a lot harder to keep it safe. That said, if we accept Okabe's claims, it's kind of odd that the time leap machine hasn't been taken already. I was actually wondering about that in the last episode. Then, Kuroki responds to my question for Faris.
マキセ様、お嬢様の言う通りです。ここは再度の襲撃の可能性があります。一旦移動なさった方がご賢明かと。ご安心ください。我々が離れましたら、入れ替わりにここを見張る者を配置いたします。
Faris nods at Kuroki's words, her eyes beaming with confidence. The two of them seem to have the situation under control, insofar as it could be controlled. Who on earth are these people? It feels as though they're backed by a powerful organization, which struck me as rather suspicious. But I didn't have anyone else I could count on.
わかりました。
Well, we learn in the original Steins Gate that she's the daughter of the father who runs Akihabara, which doesn't seem to be the big tech and weeaboo place that we know it to be. Not in this world line, it seems. Above all else, we can't afford to leave Okabe in a dangerous place like this in his condition. One look at the unconscious, agonized Okabe reaffirmed that belief. We readied ourselves to change location, praying Mayuri and Hashida's safety all the while. Yeah, what the fuck happened to Daru? Like, Mayuri most likely dead, sure, but, you know, what the fuck happened to Daru? Akihabara Times Tower. It's the tallest fucking building complex in Akihabara. Sorry, I can't speak today. It's been a long week. Complete with a view of Mount Fuji and Tokyo Tower from its top floors. And the top floor of this Akihabara Station adjacent complex was Faris-san's home. I must admit, a high-end condo with its own concierge service is certainly a much safer location than the lab's Ohiyama building. In fact, this might have been the safest place for Okabe, given everything that was going on. Shit, and like the majority of the routes in Steins Gate Zero, this is where they kept on going. On our way, Faris-san reached out to her father to make sure he was home. Oh, excuse me. She told him to make certain arrangements, and that she would fill him in on the details later. Oh, yep, he's absolutely alive. Numiho. Is that her real name? Faris-san's father gave his daughter a big hug as he welcomed her home. Seeing a display of affection like this, one especially rare in Japan, fills my chest with a subtle, hard-to-describe emotion. I should be familiar with this. I know what the emotion's supposed to be, of course. But now's not the time to worry about it. I assist Kuroki in laying Okabe down in the bedroom. Kuroki tells me that he plans to call the family doctor later to give Okabe some sedatives. You know, the good shit. I sigh in relief. Then I return to the living room to formally introduce myself to Faris-san's father. The man, having just finished hugging his daughter, smiled gently as he noticed me and enthusiastically offered his hand.
君がルミホの友人だね。秋葉ルミホの父、秋葉幸隆です。どうぞよろしく。
I shake his hand without hesitation. I've lived in America so long that it's almost uncomfortable meeting someone with without a handshake.
マキセ、クリスです。
ん？マキセ、クリスさん。
はい、そうですが。
Still holding my hand, Yukitaka Oji-sama tilts his head and looks at me. It seemed as though he was studying my face. Don't tell me he's one of those perverted old men. Just as I was about to ask Faris-san for help, Yukitaka Oji-sama mentioned a name I didn't expect to hear.
君のお父さんは牧瀬正一という名前かな。
What?
どうしてパパの名前を？
やっぱりそうなんだね。そうか、あのクリスちゃんか。すごい偶然だな。こんなに立派になって。
What the fuck? How? How does he know her?
パパ、マキセさんのこと知ってるの？
Or her father? Either one, please answer my fucking
僕と
question.
牧瀬正一は大学時代の友人でね。
Ugh. I feel sorry for you.
しかも一時期は彼の研究に資金を提供していたこともあるんだ。僕がスポンサーで、正一が実際に研究で成果を出す。アドバイザーとして僕ら二人の師匠とも言える教授がついてくれてね。
資金？
I feel like I've heard this story before. It was the reason my family had to move to Aomori. At the time, we were living in Tokyo, and Papa was an independent researcher. But the reason we had to move to Aomori, where my father still lives, is because the funding he relied on was cut off. So this man...
僕らが大学を卒業してもその座組はしばらく続いたんだ。正一は相対性理論超越委員会と呼んでいたよ。
That's the first I've heard of that. What a name.
クリスちゃん、君はよく僕らの家にも正一に連れられて遊びに来たことがあるんだよ。当時はお茶の水の方に家があってね。そこはうちの会社が傾きかけた時に売却したんだが、庭まであったんだ。そこで 君とルミホは一緒に遊んでいたよ。
No fucking way. We are learning lore.
ということは、私とマキセさんは幼馴染？
But would this all have happened if he wasn't killed? I forget when he's killed. He's killed, right? Like he gets like hit by a car or some wacky ass shit. But Faris was alive at that point. I don't fucking remember. Faris and I stared at each other in disbelief. So much has happened today that I feel like my nerves are about to short out.
というか、黒木もそのことは覚えているはずだろう。気づかなかったのかい？
いえ、気づいておりましたが、それよりも岡部様のことを優先いたしました。
そうか、ありがとう。娘の友人を介抱してくれて。さて、では本題に入ろう。
はい。
Yeah, right now, my papa's history and my unknown connection to Faris are irrelevant. Right now, we need to keep our focus on Okabe.
すみません。急に頼ってしまって。
いや、頼ってもらってよかったようだよ。
His tone was cunning and sharp, as if he had transformed from the easygoing, nostalgic man who stood before me a moment before. He was no longer a father, but a shrewd businessman. His gaze is sharp as a knife. His eyes are like a hawk's, taking in everything around him.
ルミホから連絡をもらった時は半信半疑だったけどね。念のためにお世話になっている人にお願いしたんだよ。そしたらね。
お世話になっている人ですか？
ああ、秋葉原で行われるお祭り、神田明神の神田祭りとかで夜店を出してくれる敵屋さんの元締めにちょっと話をしたのさ。びっくりしたよ、正直ね。確かに連絡があった通り、警察や鉄道会社に干渉があったらしい。元締めさんにも一応断りがあったそうでね。
My breath caught in my throat at what must have been the 1000th shock I'd received today. It's not that I didn't believe Okabe, but to know for certain that CERN is actually able to influence organizations like the police leaves me shaking.
君たちが戻ってくるまでの間に色々と調べてみたら、そもそもこの秋葉原一帯を封鎖して出入りにも制限をかけてるみたいだ。見た目はそうじゃないけれど、まあ警察のやる検問と同じだね。多分それで秋葉原から出ようとするクリスちゃんや岡部君を捕捉しようとしたんだろう。
捕捉？
I shuddered. We're being targeted by a powerful organization. Given that Okabe, Hashida, and I were the driving force behind the time machine, we must be their main focus. Thinking on it now makes me even more worried for Mayuri and Hashida's safety.
君たちは一体何に巻き込まれた？具体的に詳しい話を聞かせてほしい。一体この秋葉原の街で今何が起こっているのかを見極めるためにもね。
There was a subtle anger in Yukitaka Oji-sama's voice. It wasn't directed toward us. His anger was directed toward the intruders stomping through the place he lives, the place that he's built up and nurtured over the years. An anger born from the desire to protect the town he loves, like a mother bird defending her nest.
なるほど。
So I'm assuming that we told him everything. In the end, it took the three of us, Faris, Kyotoki, and me, over an hour to tell Yukitaka Oji-sama everything that was going on. Well, to the extent that we were capable, at least. The only one of us to time leap, witness Mayuri's numerous deaths, or know anything about CERN, Rounders, or the Committee of 300 is Okabe. Under normal circumstances, his testimony would be invaluable for clarifying certain details and verifying what he had to say. But given his unconsciousness and extreme mental fatigue, that's simply not an option. It's not surprising. The shock and despair he's gone through would be unbearable even for someone trained to cope with mental trauma. I'm only still standing right now because I'm forcing myself to think rationally. Which is why we ended up telling Yukitaka Oji-sama Okabe's story on our own. It was a long explanation, fraught with false starts, speculation, and clarifications, but we finally finished. That said, Yukitaka Oji-sama's initial response didn't seem positive. He tilts his head down, frowns, and seems to lose himself in thought. He must not be able to believe it. No surprise there. It didn't come from Okabe after all. No, it's hard to believe even coming from Okabe himself. I wouldn't have believed him myself if he weren't so desperate. I would have written it off as yet another Chinubio fantasy. Otsu.
Chris-chan.
Yukitaka Oji-sama unexpectedly breaks the silence.
はい。
僕と君のお父さん、翔一が大学生時代からの友人で彼の研究に出資していたとさっき話したね。
はい。
Though I have to admit, I'm still having trouble comprehending that. Yeah, me too, actually. It was when Yukitaka Oji-sama's funding ceased that Papa's lifeline as a researcher was cut off. I remember him telling me that when I was little, but that was just Papa's perspective. Yukitaka Oji-sama must have had his reasons. Excuse me there. But that's all in the past anyway. I don't hold any grudge against Yukitaka Oji-sama. That's good. Although Papa did take Mama and me back to his home to Aomori so he could devote himself to his research without worrying about money. Maybe that was a sign that he'd already lost hope. Of course, I know that Yukitaka Oji-sama had his reasons. Papa had told me that he might have pulled his funding because his company was facing financial issues. That's why I don't intend to hold him responsible for what happened.
じゃあ、相対性理論超越委員会の研究の内容が何だったかは知ってるかい?
There was something strange in his voice. As if sorrow, anger, and nostalgia were all blended into one. And I find myself stunned at his question. I've never been told the finer details of Papa's research with Yukitaka Oji-sama, but Papa only ever researched one thing. I can make a pretty confident guess.
はい。知っています。
Once again, the shadow of my father looms over me. And yet...
僕と翔一、そして師匠の教授の3人は定期的に会って秘密会議を開いていた。あるものを作るためにね。
For Papa and Yukitaka Oji-sama, these memories are treasures from their early adulthood.
そう。僕たちが作ろうとしていたのは、君たちと同じくタイムマシンだ。
Yeah, I figured that.
そうなの？すごい。子供みたい。
せめてロマンと言ってくれないか?
How the fuck would that be romantic? Yukitaka Oji-sama told us briefly about the transcendence of the theory of relativity committee. Papa and Yukitaka Oji-sama, his mentor, and the professor, was the first to research time machines, including the Oji-sama, which is the first time I think I've ever used that. It's really making his name harder to say. It all began when Papa snuck a look at his notes. The dream of the time machine inspired Papa and Yukitaka Oji-sama into forming a group with the professor they once avoided. That group became what Papa dubbed the transcendence of the theory of relativity committee. The professor had all the ideas and inspiration, but didn't have the scientific and technological means to make them a reality. Papa handled the actual R&D. In other words, the professor had the ideas, Yukitaka Oji-sama was the funding, and Papa the research and engineering. This was how the committee functioned. And that all makes sense. You can actually kind of relate it with how the current one, yeah, you know what? She's saying it right there. In that way, it was a lot like our future gadget laboratory, where our crew centers their work around Okabe. There's just no funding. Who knows where we get that? Okabe has the ideas, I construct the theories, and Hashida conducts the actual experiments. And this means Papa handled both my and Hashida's roles. The parallels are obvious. Yukitaka Oji-sama must have realized this when he heard about the time leap machine, which would explain the complicated emotions in his voice. The next generation succeeded where his failed. Excuse me. Did his odd tone stem from pride or from jealousy? Maybe a mix of both. Of course, there's no way for me to know for sure, and I may very well be oversimplifying things. He's clearly dealing with some complicated personal feelings.
同じものを作ろうとしていたからわかることもある。いや、違うな。僕がわかっているわけじゃないか。
Sorry, I was getting a drink. This may be the first time I've heard Yukitaka Oji-sama doubt his own words.
どういうことですか？
多分ね、僕はそのセルンと300人委員会のことを知っている。それも2つの方面からだ。
This time it was my turn to frown upon hearing Yukitaka Oji-sama's words.
2つの方面って、パパ、どういうこと？
一つ目は、僕がというよりも、僕たちの恩師であったその教授が知ってたんだと思う。教授はタイムマシン研究を極秘に行っていた。いつどこで誰から漏れるかわからないから、協力者も最小限に制限していたくらいだよ。正一はその方針にあっさりと賛同してたけど、僕は共同出資者が欲しかったタイミングもあったから少し困った時があったね。けど今にして思うと教授はセルンがそういうところだと知ってたんだろ
う。In other words, he had remarkable foresight. But then there are cases like Okabe. It's difficult to tell what the truth actually is.
では、2つ目っていうのは何なんですか
？300人委員会のことだよ。これも正確にはそのものを知っているというわけじゃないけれどね。
Again, I couldn't help but to be puzzled by Yukitaka Oji-sama's words. Seeing the questions written on my face, Yukitaka Oji-sama spoke with a gentle smile.
クリスちゃん、君からすると秘密結社というのは現実離れしてフィクションじみた大層なものなんじゃないかい
？I wasn't able to come up with a response to the bizarre inquiry. Though it seems he expected my reaction.
実はね、秘密結社っていうのはありふれた珍しくもなんともないものなんだよ。僕くらいの実業家にとってはね。
Oh, I absolutely believe it. Like 100%, especially when money is involved or success or anything. You know, people are bound to keep shit secret like that. I don't even know what I'm up against. Faced with the reality of his statement, my brain retreated to one of my regular at-channel references. Sensing my inability to process what I was hearing in my blank expression, Yukitaka Oji-sama explains himself more simply. It's getting really hard to say his fucking name. Essentially, it boils down to this. Oh, fuck. Long ago, before the Industrial Revolution, the publication and distribution of information was far more costly than it is now. Additionally, with society's rapid advancements and the associated increase in business opportunities, merchants realized that traditional business methods were fast becoming obsolete. Perhaps the greatest change was the unprecedented demand for banks just before the start of the Age of Exploration. This demand transformed the economy entirely. That marked the end of the old way of doing business. Small range, small scope, small margin businesses were on the way out. Faced with a changing world, the wealthy, in order to protect their profits, searched for ways to construct unions to mutually benefit one another. But these weren't like national unions. These organizations were closed off to the majority of society. Some of them kept their very existence a secret. In order to protect their members and activities, these organizations later become known as secret societies. Naturally, there are non-economic secret societies too. For example, Italy's famous Sicilian Mafia. I don't know if I said that right. Sicilian, maybe that's how you do it. It was originally a rebel organization that fought against oppression from the mainland. Moreover, the Knights Templar, a centerpiece of numerous conspiracy theories, is not an actual secret society. They believe that the Templars operate in secret to this day is largely due to France declaring members of their order heretics. Outside of France, however, they operated in plain sight. Most notably in Portugal, where the king became a member of the Knights Templar, uniting the country and the organization as one. In other words, present-day Portugal is the Knights Templar. One can hardly call Portugal a secret society. The Soviet Union, which collapsed before I was born, was originally a secret society, a society that sparked a revolution and turned itself into a nation.
君たちは知らないだろうけれど、未だに秘密結社はたくさんあって、それは世界を動かしてる。でも、それは別に特別なことでも何でもない、当たり前のことなんだよ。理解しているかどうかわからないけれど、君たちのラボだって、ある意味では秘密結社だ。それをまず認識すべきだよ。
I can understand that. I don't know if you can call it an economic secret society of sorts, but definitely one that is trying to push the boundaries of science. I know secret societies, as we just, talked about, have different purposes, economic or non-economic, but you know what? That makes sense. Trying to push the boundaries of science in secrecy. It's in plain sight, boys and girls. I hope I'm getting the right idea and I'm not spewing nonsense. To be honest, his words shook me. I'd always thought secret societies were nothing but delusional fantasies thought up by conspiracy theorists and Chinubio. But apparently there are many secret societies influence the governments of developed countries simply by voting. Of course, there are still many profit-seeking secret societies whose ambitions don't extend beyond wealth.
300人委員会という結社がその意味でどのぐらいのランクに属する組織かはわからない。ただ相当なものなのは確かだろう。ビジネスで言えば喧嘩を売るべきではない相手だ。向こうの目的も規模も手の内もわからない。特に考え方がわからないのが一番痛い。もしかしたら互いの利益の落としどころを探って和解できる相手かもしれないのに、それもわからない。
パパ。
Faris-san's question is ripe with concern. In response, the corners of Yukitaka Oji-sama's lips curl up.
けれどね、僕たちの町であるこの秋葉原でこんな自分勝手をした連中を許せない。彼らには多少なりとも報いが必要だ。
Hell yeah, brother. At that point, I finally understood. Yukitaka Oji-sama was angry. I thought we already verified that path. We already talked about that.
失礼するよ。
As he answers the phone that rang abruptly, Yukitaka Oji-sama dons a slight smile. Then he addresses us as he hangs up.
どうやら手がかりがつかめたようだ。君たちの言うラウンダーという連中の一人を捕まえたよ。
捕まえた?
I have a bad feeling about this. I think I already can guess who the fuck it is. Okabe had said that the Rounders killed Mayuri, and we captured one of these relentless murderers. What kind of man is Yukitaka Oji-sama? It feels like we're stepping outside of reality. Maybe all of this is a dream. No, I can't think like that. I need to stay rooted in real life. And at this point, I didn't care if it felt like I was living in a manga. To me, Yukitaka Oji-sama's words seemed like the light at the end of a tunnel. Goddamn right. Alright, we're gonna end it there. Boy oh boy, who the fuck did they just capture? And it's probably Moeka. I'm strongly believing that it's Moeka. I could be wrong, who the hell knows, but That's who I believe was captured. But anyways, thank you all for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. It is finally the goddamn weekend. I am so excited to do a whole lot of nothing except studying because I got midterms. So if you guys are watching this around the time that it released, expect a lack of videos in the following week because I'm going to be a busy boy. Maybe, who knows, maybe I'll procrastinate. But again, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take it easy.